All right, let's talk time management, guys. This is another highly requested video. I'm so excited about it because I love time management. I love planning and strategizing and organizing and all that type A stuff. So if you are having trouble writing your book and you need some help figuring out how to manage your time, this might be for you. I'm not saying it's for everybody because everybody's different, but I'm going to bring you my top 3 time management tips. Like seriously, the top. If I do these things, this helps me the most. I don't always do them well. I'm just going to be so straightforward and honest with you guys. I screw up all the time. I don't manage my time perfectly. I don't think anybody does, but if we can get better at it and use our time better, the books are going to get written faster. And that's what we want, right? So let's dive right into it. One of these I've talked about in the past. One of them I've talked about really recently, but I'm going to kind of go into more detail on what it actually is. And then the last one is something I have never talked about before. It didn't even occur to me to talk about it because it's just something I've always done. But I realized really recently that I am kind of an oddball and I'm kind of one of the few who do this, and most people don't do this. But anyway, let's start with the first one, which is the most obvious because I've just been talking about Google Calendars recently, and I will link the video on Google Calendars below for you if you're curious. But really, the first tip is actually time blocking or calendar blocking. And so it goes above and beyond Google Calendars. Like I personally love using Google Calendars for it, and that's kind of like a mini tip underneath this tip. But basically, the idea of time blocking is that you're naming your time. You're giving it a name and a purpose, and you know what it's supposed to be used for. So you can't do the thing where you Netflix for 4 hours every night because on your calendar, your time block says that this specific hour is for writing your book. And that's basically the gist of it. You're basically naming your time so that it doesn't just go wherever it happens to go. And then you're like, where did all my time go? What just happened? I don't know how I wasted this entire day, which I've done this. I'm with you. I understand. I still do this. And it's not a perfect strategy, but the idea of it is like, for me, for example, if I'm like, you know what, I want to start writing every day, but other things keep taking priority, whether it's, life stuff or the other business or you name it, like other things keep coming into play. And so one day I just sat down and I'm like, you know what, I have to do something. I have to change something. So for me, that meant I started using Google Calendars. And like I've told you guys before, I started using it like the last week of December in 2018, and I've been using it ever since. But truly, the idea underlying the use of Google Calendar is just to name your time and block it and say, this block of time belongs to this project, if that makes sense. So if you're taking like a night and you have 4 hours and you're just kind of like aimlessly wandering into them and you're like, I have a to-do list, I kind of know what I need to get done, but then like if you're anything like me, maybe you used all 4 hours for Netflix and then nothing got done. That's not good. So that's why I personally love time blocking and just naming the time. But again, I want this video to be short today, so I'm going to keep going. My second biggest tip for time management is one that I have talked a little bit about before, and that is setting timers and alarms. And so I love doing this. I don't do it all the time. In fact, I've kind of fallen off a cliff. Like Google Calendars took over and I forgot about the alarm. So I want to balance them and bring them both into play again, because when you set an alarm, like I don't need to describe what an alarm does, do I? Like, it tells you it's time for the next thing. It tells you it's time to go to something, to do something else, to stop something. It's just basically, it frees you up to focus in the moment and get really focused and in the moment and be present in whatever you're doing, knowing that something will tell you when it's time to stop. And so this is very common in like the writerly world anyway, with word sprints. Like if you guys have ever done word sprints or writing sprints, whatever you want to call it, people will like set a time for 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever and write together. And then when the timer goes off, you say, this is how many words I got, this is how I did, and it's really fun and helpful. So I looked at that and I thought, why can't I apply this to my life as a whole? So now when I go to do a project, I like to, especially if I'm feeling kind of antsy and all over the place and my mind's like, what's happening today? Then I will just go and set a timer, and it helps me to go, okay, this time I only have 20 minutes. The amount that I use timers changes from day to day. It really depends on how like, ooh, I'm feeling. Like, am I like, ooh, what's happening on Instagram? Ooh, what's happening on Twitter? And oh, how about YouTube? And maybe I should check my email. On days like that, which are pretty common, I like to use timers and alarms to catch myself, to make myself focus and be present in what I'm doing. So I happen to have a habit, and I think a lot of people do, of switching tasks a lot. So I'll be over on Instagram, and that will remind me of something like, oh, I better fix the links over on Linktree and get that set up. And oh, that reminds me I should fix the sale over here for Evelyn's number. And that reminds me that I should go ahead and go to my Amazon page, author page, or my Goodreads page, and you get the idea. I'm following a trail, and I'm not getting anything done. So the timer is similar to the time blocking, where it's saying this time is for this project, okay? You're getting a theme here, right? So this time is for this project and nothing else. And I have a time limit, like 20 minutes or whatever it is, whatever you choose to do. Everybody's different. But whatever that time limit is, I want to have accomplished, X by that time. So I need to get focused. And there's something in that really, really helps me. So let me know if you want to try this or if you have tried it, and give me a shout out in the comments if you like it, because I hope that this will work for you. But now let's come to my third tip for time management that I do not see anybody talking about, and I didn't even think to bring it up in any of my other videos because it's just so simple. It's really, really simple, you guys. And I'm a little scared to mention it because I don't know if people will hate me for saying this, but I'm gonna tell you, this is just what I do, okay? Okay. The third thing that I do for time management is I turn off all notifications. All of them. I treat notifications like they're the plague. I do not allow them to interfere with my work as much as possible. I do have a bad habit of checking Instagram like every 2 seconds. So I'm working on that, and I'm actually trying to like only be on Instagram like maybe twice a day or 3 times a day in like chunks. Time blocking. Hello. But what I'm trying to say here is that if you are sitting and trying to write, for instance, and you get a notification about Instagram, your brain is going to be like, I need to know what they said. I need to know what they said. I need to know what's happening over there. If you get an email, if you get a text even. I will say that I do get texts because I don't know if there's a way to turn off text notifications. And not that I would want to. Like, I do want to know when people are talking to me, but I turn them to silent. So that means that, unfortunately, I am not easy to be reached. You can't ping me very easily because my phone is usually in another room. It's on silent. Notifications are not coming to me. I just find this so freeing. It gives you the mental space to focus and not to have a bunch of people, not that they're doing it intentionally, but if you have social media platforms in general and email and just like friends and family all grabbing at you for attention all throughout the day, how are you going to get anything done? I mean, how? Like, how do you get things done? If you have notifications on, like, I really want to know how you manage to do that, because I cannot do that. Personally, I avoid them, and that's just my opinion. No pressure on you to do that, but I do recommend it if you want to try it. This is a huge lifesaver for me, because then the only way that I am getting people interrupting my day is if I go out and look for it, which is still a problem, but that's another whole other video right there. So anyway, I should say that I still get calls. So like, that's the one thing that does come through. And especially like, you can turn some calls on silent, and then other calls, like my husband is on, like he can get through, at least on the iPhone you can do that. So if he's calling, I will get it. And he does like to call and interrupt. It's always like right when I sit down to write, that's when he wants to call me, which is fine. I love him very much. But it's just funny, the timing of that. So anyway, minimizing notifications is the goal here as much as possible, and to the extent that you want to. Maybe you want to like keep notifications on one platform but shut them off on others. I don't know. It's totally up to you. Like, this is just my time management hack that really, really, really helps me. So I just wanted to share these 3 things with you guys today, and I hope that you liked it. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe below if you're not already. I don't know why I sang that, but I hope you guys will be cool with it. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys again very soon. Bye!